Hit that Timmy trumpets on him.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the No Scrubs Allowed podcast. Seal, how are you doing, bud?
Doing all right, man. Can't complain, won't complain. Especially before the season starts of NFL football. It's fucking back, baby. I'm so happy. Kind of wish that old fake Southern accent asshole over there in LSU would have got a dub against FSU. But from my personal experience, if there's a kicker at LSU and it's on the line, you're fucked. You're absolutely fucked. But other than that, great weekend. The Dogs destroyed Oregon, which I called.
Yeah.
I almost called the friggin' points for the UCF game, and I think I'm the only one that hit the upset.
Well, we're gonna get to all that because
life's great.
you make it sound like you're the best person in the world, but we will get to that in a second.
Well,
First,
you
I want
asked
to.
me how I was doing.
Yeah, but we'll get to that in a second. You picked the easiest upset as we talked about last week, but first, a little bit of housekeeping. Yours was not a Vegas upset, which we always know is what Seal's motive is. But anyways, next week will potentially be delayed, potentially be who knows. I will be in Minnesota, and I do not know my schedule at all. I hope to be bringing my laptop because I should have enough for it to be my personal item on my plane. But like I don't know the plans at all, so we'll have to finagle recording whenever we can. And then who knows when I'll actually get it posted. It might not be till Friday when I get back. when I
What's
post
in
it.
Minnesota?
So I'll be watching an LAFC soccer game versus Minnesota United. Hopefully clinching one of the top spots if Austin loses and we win. But that would be super cool. And then I will be watching the Twins, I believe, play the Astros. I swear I've watched more Astros games since cheating than I have Dodgers games. Since 2017, I think I've watched more Astros games than I've watched Dodgers games. Every single road when me and Jake do this, every one has been against the Astros so far. When we went to Oakland, it was against the Astros. When we went to the Rangers, it was against the Astros. And now I think Minnesota's going to be against the Astros also. So we're just the traveling
crazy.
Astros haters.
You guys picked a great time to go. Beautiful, beautiful country land this time of year. So I'm excited for you guys.
The
Definitely
weather will be
better
great,
than
which is
going to
awesome.
see. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Better than going to see the Minnesota Vikings in December. That would fucking
Yeah,
suck.
that would suck. I wish I could see the Vikings. Not that type of trip. We want him to be there on Sunday. So, but it'll be exciting. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out that the recording, if it's not out on Thursday morning, don't fret. It'll be available at some point. It just depends on when I can get access and when we can do all of this stuff. Unless Seal figures out how to download and post things, but I don't know.
It's not me. It's not me. It's this damn friggin' stupid. If you buy a laptop, spend $1,000 or you're stuck with
Yeah,
this
just
shit.
get something good.
God.
All right, so let's get into last week. Last week, before Seal comes out guns ablazing, I wanted to give us all a shout out, every single one of us a shout out, because this is the first time in No Scrubs Allowed history that all three of our upset picks, Eddie was a guest last week, all three of our upset picks made it to the last meaningful play of the game, which is nuts.
Yeah.
All of them had a chance with, I could say the last play of the game, but obviously there's kneel downs and stuff like that. But the last meaningful play of the game, we all three made it there, which is amazing. But like Seal said, he was the only one that actually got it right, and we'll start there because it required an interception by a team that we're very happy when the Florida Gators win, but the defense did not look like a winning defense. It's going to have some struggles with some SEC schools, but they came up big when they needed to. Um, Talk me through your feelings on this one because I went from Anthony Richardson's such a badass to our defense is straight ass to Anthony Richardson is such a badass to and just kept backing and forthing, and then it was like, oh, we win, I'm done, game over.
Yeah, the emotions in the middle of that game were definitely high and low. And coming out of it, I truly feel like we have a decent chance at an SEC championship this year. Our defense seems to be bend, don't break this Utah team. I mean, granted, they don't have the same weapons that they had a year ago for the most part, but this Utah team is very well going to have a 35, 40 point a game average by the end of the season. And for
Right.
us to hold them like we did, I mean, they, like you said, that defense from 20 to 20 fucking trash. Absolute trash. Just letting them run wherever they wanted to. Just open. Everything was open lanes. Everything. Nothing getting tipped. Nothing getting touched. And then you get down in the red zone. But that's where these Alabamas, these Georgias in the red zone, where they're just gonna fucking run it down your throat. And we're fucked on the run. It seems like right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of catching up to do. It seems like, but I'm really confident in what we're able to do. Like you said, AR-15 is that dude. Now, hopefully, his passing will get a lot more crisp and a lot more better by the time 3-4 weeks come around. But I can appreciate what he's able to do, and the fact that Napier knows the system and the players that he has, and doesn't divert from it. Just keeps going, keeps rolling with the punches, and I really like that about him because we all know last year, 2 years ago with Dan Mullen, we wouldn't have seen a fucking run play for the last like 2.5 quarters of that game. And for Napier to kind of stay with it and keep it going, and seeing Johnson and Etienne come out and doing their thing, I'm really excited about this season.
Yeah, Richardson has a lot, and it's because he's still in his first year of really being the keys are yours kind of quarterback. But he still has that Emory Jones like Tebow was that way his sophomore year, even though he was amazing. Where as soon as the play breaks down, he's thinking run. He doesn't know how to extend it behind the line of scrimmage yet. Luckily, he's a great runner. He's amazing, just like all those guys I mentioned, even Lamar Jackson. So it's not like I'm talking it like a knock, but that's the next evolution of his game. Is he has to figure out how to extend that play out, extend the pocket, and then get his eyes back up and throw it. But in the meantime, this is what we need from him is a guy that's not scared to make those runs.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for what we're able to do. We seem like we have some playmakers on the wide receiver court that's able to go get up and find that ball. So, I mean, if he was some kind of Josh Allen dude, we're just chucking that bitch up when he's throwing it down deep. And hey, I like that we're getting the ball 5-6 yards down the field and letting these wide receivers do their thing. But that's what Buffalo does. They send that bitch deep. They have no run after the catch, and they seem to be doing pretty fucking good. And we have the guys that can do that, and we have those little fucks that can get 50 yards after completion too. So, dude, I'm excited if we can get this dude to play actual quarterback ball in 2022 and make it work. He's doing what Lamar was doing before, like after everybody knew who Lamar was.
Right.
So, like, this guy's already a step above what he was doing whenever we first came to know him at Louisville. I'm not going to say he was better than him in college because we all know what Lamar did. But by the time everybody knew Lamar, he's already better than he was. Like, this kid
Right.
is great at running the ball. He's great at reading the defense. But like you said, he knows the pressure is going to come. He knows where it's going to come from. He knows exactly where he needs to allude to. But he puts the ball in his fucking armpit and takes off. So he's smart in the sense to where he can read the defenses and stuff. He just needs to take that and be like, all right, cool. So I know I might have a hole over there. I can come this way, look this way, bam. So like you said, it's a whole nother evolution to it, but it's a lot more exciting than I would be if we would have not got that interception and they got that completion. And I would just be talking all kinds of shit, saying we need an actual quarterback, we need a run defense. But hey, I'm excited.
Exactly, me too. And the road gets tougher from here. We'll talk about it when we actually move forward to week 2, but we can't stop. We have to just keep grinding. It's going to be a long season. It's going to be a lot of good ranked matchups. But let's move on to the team that I said that I picked for my upset, the team that I was scared of and needed Eddie to talk me down off a ledge. I was scared of East Carolina. The first half of this game against NC State, Eddie texted me and he was like, see, you don't have to be scared of East Carolina. Holton Ahlers is trash. And I said, bro, it's early. Just keep watching. And Ahlers brought them all the way back, did his thing, had a crazy ending to this game, but then got the touchdown. And then much like LSU, they missed the extra point that would have sent it to overtime. And maybe it's just my homer upset pick in me, but I think if they made it to overtime, they had all the advantage. They had all the momentum. They were at home. I think they would have rolled to probably a 1 overtime victory. They wouldn't have even needed much more. But it was that close. But it didn't make me any less scared of ECU, even though UCF kicked butt. The upset pick that came up short, but I think it was the right pick. I think I made a good one because there wasn't very many upsets anyway. So.
Yeah, nah, you definitely did. ECU is going to surprise a couple people this year. How about that North Carolina game, bro? That game was fucking crazy.
There was what, like 60 something points scored in the fourth quarter.
Fourth quarter, yeah.
That's so ridiculous,
nuts.
dude.
I forget who they were playing, but they were down 21 going into the fourth, and then there were 60 fucking points scored in the fourth.
Yeah,
Just
I don't
insane.
remember who
I'm
they were
trying to
playing either.
delete
But
Fall Guys off this. Maybe it is me. I don't know how to work computers. I'm trying to delete Fall Guys and I can't find it.
what'd you install it on? Is it on like Steam or something? Because
No, there was its own little thing. I want to uninstall Steam and Discord and all that shit, but I don't know how to.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So I was close, but yeah, East Carolina is pretty scary. So then we get to Eddie's upset pick, and it looked like the lock of the week. He was riding high. UTSA was destroying Houston, and then Houston just showed up in the fourth quarter, did their thing, made it to overtime, forced overtime, got eventually to triple overtime, and got the 2-point conversion for the win to help out the American Conference, which is a good thing. But it ruined Eddie's upset pick. But it was a great game. The only reason I watched the game was because it was Eddie's upset pick, but it turned out to be a really good game. So I was glad I watched. But sorry to Eddie.
Yeah, doesn't this make you think that, I mean, who the fuck's going to beat UCF? Houston looked suspect, Cincinnati, we all saw that.
Yeah, like
This
we
could be
definitely
UCF's
have
year,
to be the
dude.
class. Now we get to see, because we played South Carolina State, so we get to see this weekend. But we look like we're going to take back control of the AAC, and then we'll hold control of the AAC, and then we'll be the best team heading to the Big 12. Although BYU looked pretty good against the Cows, but we'll be the best team heading to the Big 12. So I'm excited about that. At least I think we will be. So that pretty much lumps up last week. I guess there was one quote unquote good game that came out of it, and that was Ohio State and Notre Dame. I was wrong. I said Ohio State would roll through Notre Dame. But I keep forgetting that in week 1, Ohio State sucks. They have for many, many years. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But once they turned it around and the second half started, their defense is going to be top of the food chain, and they started to get rolling, and they won pretty big. But or not big, but easily. Do you have any other storylines that you wanted to point out before we head over to week 2?
The Seminoles are going to be ass. LSU was ass. I don't understand why everybody's hyping up that victory.
Hey, the Seminoles are 2-0, bro. 2-0.
Bro, they played a fucking high school and a team that, I don't care. Who cares? I don't care.
Yeah, I actually didn't watch that game. I watched the very end.
Fuck, bro. It's so annoying to hear all these people talking shit.
You just gotta love it and wait for the last game of the season when it all turns on its head, and they'll be fighting for a bowl like they always are, and then we'll be trying to take our break before the SEC championship.
It's their first SEC win since 2017 for those guys, and they play us every year.
Yeah, so
it's insane.
Real quick before we move to week 2, because I congratulated Eddie. I haven't had a chance to congratulate you, and it's kind of a weird congratulations because they won 41-10, but the 3 of us were right on DJ Uiagalelei. This man's not that good, and Clemson's not going to be that good. They won big, but I think we can stand confident that maybe Clemson might still win the ACC, but they're not that good.
That backup quarterback's going to take Ooga Booga Dooga's spot real fast. That kid looked good.
Yeah, he did. Ooga Booga did not. And I was just super excited because they were not losing, but they were being played really close. It was like 14-10 to start the second half. And then, I mean, Clemson did their thing. But yeah, when they actually face a good team.
That defense is scary.
Yeah, they are. They might, like I said, they might win the ACC, but that's not going to be saying much. And if they win the ACC and have to face Georgia or Bama, they're going to get absolutely.
Yeah, they're going to end up like 5th or 6th and not end up in the playoffs and just destroy whoever the fuck they play.
Oh, that's possible as well. Yeah, that's true.
It's because, I mean, it's still Clemson at the end of the day, but like that defense is fucking legit, like absolutely legit. So if they can figure out that offense, which Dabo seems to always be able to do, then they should be fine. And he said that he feels like this quarterback class that he has right now is one of the better ones he's had.
Yeah.
So
And Dabo knows how to coach, like you said. We
And
know
this is a
that
guy
they're
that
going to
went
be
from
there.
Deshaun to Kelly Bryant to Trevor. He's
Yeah.
had some fucking class.
All right, so let's move on to week 2, and there are 3 ranked matchups again. Florida will be in one of them, so let's start real quick with UCF for all of our Homer fans. UCF has to play Louisville. It's the big game on our schedule. We always have one because our conference isn't really that big. I didn't watch Louisville in week 1. I don't know what they did. Did they even win? Were they around? Did they
I'm
play?
not sure.
I'm not. Let me
No
see if
clue.
I can find real quick the AAC schedule. Because they're 0-1, so I'm not worried about it. I don't even know who they played, but we looked really good. And again, it was against South Carolina State, but they lost to Syracuse 31-7. All right, we are going to roll through Louisville, and with that being the tough game on our schedule, now we're gonna start having the Kirk Herbstreets and stuff talking about our strength of schedule because Louisville's gonna finish 2-8 or something, and 2-10, whatever that would be. Oh, that sucks, man. I was hoping they would be pretty good.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a slaughter. It's going to be a fun game. I wish I could go.
That sucks. So now
But
we
yeah,
just have to cheer for freaking Houston like all day long because we don't play them in the regular season. We only play them in the championship game. So we need them to figure their shit out and
well,
be
this is your
undefeated.
last year that it really fucking matters. So would you rather just root for you guys to go undefeated and get knocked and then come out next year in the Big 12 and be like, yo, listen, watch this shit, and then go undefeated again next year and they have to throw you in a playoff game?
I don't care about going in the playoffs. I just want to be the New Year's Six Bowl again. I want to be the tops of the table. So the problem with that is BYU now has to lose because the way Cincinnati lost and got unranked. Now I think BYU's technically still under Houston. That's why I'm saying we have to cheer for Houston. Then if us and Houston are undefeated in the conference championship game, we can maybe stay ahead of BYU. But I don't know. But I want to be the New Year's Six Bowl. I don't think we'll make it in the playoffs anymore. They did their little we throw you the bone with Cincinnati and you got
Cincinnati,
beat.
yep.
So I'm not expecting that. But if we can turn it around, make Gus look good, make all these guys look good, and then just continue recruiting. So we need to be better than Houston. We need to be better than Cincinnati. We need to be better than Memphis, BYU. Those guys. That's who we need to be better than, so that we can recruit.
For sure.
We
Yeah,
need
you guys got a really good chance. There's other teams going into the Big 12 too and other conferences, right?
just BYU, I think, is the only non-American team.
All right.
But BYU, because they're independent, is basically playing a Big 12 schedule this year. So we'll talk about them a little later because it's the game of the week. But they're gonna get a chance to see the Big 12 a little earlier than us. So we just need them to get beat up on so that they can be like, oh, they're not good enough at the Big 12. Now let's move on. But we'll talk about that later. I don't think they'll get beat up on necessarily. But let's start with the first ranked game of the day. Shout out, if you want to call it that, to Josh Heupel finally getting Tennessee ranked, getting them in there. Their first ranking since he's been the head coach. They are now 24th, but they travel to Pittsburgh to face Pitt, who had a good game against West Virginia, but I don't know why they're 17th. We talked about that last week.
Well,
I don't know why either of these two teams are ranked, but what do you think is going to happen in this game?
I don't know why Pittsburgh's still 17 after last week either, but I guess they have a good team. I'm not sure. We all know that their quarterback's probably going to end up playing in the same stadium that they play in here very soon. Except it came out today Mike Tomlin doesn't want that. He wants Mitch all year long, which is fucking crazy to think of. I mean, Kenny Pickett's the third quarterback on the roster. So, yeah, we're talking about college. I don't understand how Pittsburgh – I can see Tennessee. They got good hype. They had a good recruiting season. So they have good players, it seems like, and we'll see what they're able to do. But Pittsburgh, I mean, they're right in the coattails of last year, and it seems like the rankings always do that, to where they kind of look at last year, and then right after week one, they kind of tighten out, right? Not so fast, my friend, apparently, because you have them sitting here. I figured they would have fell like to the low 20s. I thought Houston
so.
would probably end up being ranked over them, but no, they're still 17. It's crazy, honestly, to see them with that number. Like all these teams that did way better than them are still sitting a little bit under them. So I honestly I don't understand it, but I think that they're going to go out and rout Tennessee. Honestly,
Ooh,
I think
okay.
I don't think Tennessee is going to be able to pass for pass. I mean, that's just not what they're able to do. And West Virginia was trying to run the ball, couldn't run the ball. Finally started throwing that rock and started scoring touchdowns, and it was a fucking great fucking game to watch.
Right.
I don't think Tennessee is going to do that. I think they're going to get just kind of like deer in the headlights look whenever they see Pittsburgh doing all this shit against them and then stopping their run, and they're not going to be able to throw the ball. I mean, they might have a quarterback who can throw the ball now, but I doubt it. It's fucking Tennessee.
Well, the scary part is that Pitt is going to make this be a close game, and we Tennessee fans might not have seen it yet, but we have seen Josh Heupel in close games, and it's not that great. The play calling ends up just being shit. He rushes no matter what the case, whether he's up, down, left, right. He rushes to the line of scrimmage, whether they know the play or not, and it's going to be pretty bad. So because of that, I think Pitt will win. I don't think they're going to steamroll. I think it's going to be close. I think Tennessee might be in the lead in the fourth quarter, but I just do not believe in Heupel. I think he's going to just choke this game away. And if Pittsburgh, which I think is the better coach team, has their quarterback who seemed to be calm under pressure. Yes, it was West Virginia, but he was calm under pressure last week. If he stays calm under pressure again, I think he'll get Pitt the win at home that they deserve. So get Heupel out of those rankings 1 week in, 1 week out. All right. So the next ranked matchup on the docket is our game. We are at the Swamp again, which is huge, really huge, because we are facing Kentucky. You don't have a lot of hype for Kentucky, but this Levis, however you say this dude's name, he's good. He's been good. He's once again good. He was good last week. I don't think they were playing anybody last week, but he's a senior this week. He's played tough against us already in the past. He's a good player, and I am really scared of this game. But if last game teaches me anything, it's that we're just going to be more confident. We're going to be stronger. The fans are going to be louder. Richardson's going to be better. Our defense, the good thing about last game is we had a lot of things that are going to be coachable. We didn't go out and blow people out the way that Georgia did, the way that Alabama did. So he's going to coach up the defense. And the only thing that scares me is that this quarterback is not scared to come into the Swamp. He's going to be able to come in there and be confident. But I think we had our hiccup moment, but a tough moment, big emotional first game of everybody's career, and we came away with the win. So I think this week's going to be a little easier for us. I think we win by double digits.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to be a rout per se, but we don't lose to Kentucky, bro. I don't want to talk about a couple years ago. I hate talking about it. It wasn't last year, right? It's a couple years, 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. But we just don't lose to Kentucky. I don't give a fuck who they have at quarterback. I don't care if they went and got the Hamburger back there. I forgot his name, old 22. Remember that
That fat
dude from back in
guy?
the 90s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That dude was a beast, bro. But not against us.
But yeah, so I don't really care who it is. They're going to keep it close for a while, but I think just the way we're able to grind down and run the ball, we're going to be able to just kill the clock near the end of the game and tell Anthony, hey, bro, when you're rolling out in the third quarter, don't hit a 45-yard touchdown, bro. We're going to be up 2 scores by then. Just go out of bounds and let's fucking bleed this clock and make these motherfuckers want to go home early. I hope, because we're still very young. And it's Kentucky. They can capitalize on our mistakes. So I don't know.
They did beat us, obviously, in 2018, which you were alluding to. They haven't beat us since 1986, apart from that, which is just nuts. But it was in the Swamp. They have not beat us in Kentucky in forever. Who knows? But yeah, it makes me nervous, but I'm not too worried about it, just because I think we're the better team. And we're the better team with confidence, and it's going to be. That's the reason the rankings are what they are at this point. We were unranked, and now we're 12. People saw what we can do, and it's not going to be as scary anymore. But I was scared of it. But now I'm riding the train. I love it. Our team is doing exactly what they need to do. I'm back on board. I was scared for a second. All right, so the last game. Yeah, I know. The game of the week, the big boy. It's Baylor, Big 12 champ, I think. Weren't they the champ last year? Heading to Mormon country, to Provo, Utah, to face the BYU Fighting Mormons. What are they actually? Cougars, right? So this is a huge one. Baylor's number 9, but they're on the road. BYU absolutely dominated the Cows of USF and showed me nothing because there was nothing to be shown. What do you think happens in this game?
I don't know. That could be my upset pick. Who knows?
Ooh.
I just really don't have
Again, that's
confidence
not
in
a
the world in
Vegas
Baylor.
upset, by the way. If that's your pick and you do that again, where you pick the Vegas favorite just because they're lower ranked and it's an upset, then you're lame. But
I don't ever look at the odds though, bro. So you can't say that.
but you always come away with that.
I did that last year though, right? After like 3
Yeah.
weeks, you said something, and I finally went to start looking at the odds.
It's all right. I'm doing it this week too, unless you steal my upset pick. I'm picking a Vegas favorite as well.
Oh.
So.
But yeah, I see BYU being able to easily take care of business here. The score's not going to see that. It's going to be close because Baylor's just fucking like they're men. Like those are some big boys. Some big boys. It just seems like when it comes down to it, they're just not the smartest football players. Whatever it is, and I don't know if it's coaching. They've had a lot of coaching changes. This regime has been there for a couple of years now, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know what it is, but it just seems like no matter what, we can always just rely on Baylor in big games to kind of doink it up a little bit, and that's just the way I see it. And either way, BYU is a really good team this year. It's just after week 1, watching a lot of football, it's hard to process this shit. And this BYU team hasn't seen anybody this big and aggressive in a long time, so we'll see how it favors for them. But 9 times out of 10, I see BYU beating this Baylor team solely because Baylor's going to fuck it up themselves.
Well, being at home really makes this a tough decision because BYU is going to be a good team and they have a really good home team. But I just think that Baylor is going to want to go out here and little brother these future Big 12 guys that are showing up. And I think on paper they're the better team. If they were in Waco, they would easily be the better team, and I think they would win easily. The home field gives me a little bit of a pause, but I think just like our upset picks from last week, I think this one's going to come down to the wire. And I'm going to pick Baylor just because I think talent's going to win out. But it's going to be talent versus home field advantage, and it's going to come close. It's going to come to the wire, and it could be. I think it'll be the defenses winning it for whoever is last on the field on defense is actually going to win, in my opinion. So somebody's going to make a huge defensive stop and end it, and I think it'll be Baylor.
If it comes down to defense, definitely Baylor.
So here it's time. It's upset pick time. You won. You were the only winner, as you said last week, so you get to pick first. What's your upset pick?
Do I do it?
Go for it. And like I said, I'm picking a Vegas favorite. So
yeah, I'll take BYU then.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good one. We just talked about it. You always know how to talk about it. Yeah, that's obviously a good one. I'm going to pick Texas Tech over Houston. Houston is number 25 still. They are ranked, so it does count. But they looked shitty against UTSA. So
my heart just dropped, bro.
Why?
Because I thought you were gonna stop at Texas.
Oh no, I love to pick Texas, but I need to try to get one upset pick this week. Yeah, Texas Tech is going to upset Houston. It's going to be really. I think they're just going to destroy them, honestly.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. Maybe Houston got that wake-up call that they needed, and they'll play a little better, but they were not impressive. If they have the first half against Texas Tech that they had against UTSA, they're going to be down 30 points at halftime, and they're going to get ran out. So it's going to be tough. Let's talk real quick about that Texas game because it had the potential to be a ranked matchup. I think when the schedulers made this game, they wanted it to be a ranked matchup. Texas won last week, but for whatever reason, the rankings would not quite put them over the top. I think they're second out in the rankings or third, something like that. Is Alabama with this new look Bryce Young running like a weird option, whatever the hell he's doing thing. Were they actually just hiding their real strategy against Texas, or is this their new offense? And are they going to roll over Texas the way they rolled over whoever high school that they
Whoever
ran?
the fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I don't know. It could be who did Alabama play? Yeah, my computer's not gonna find it fast enough. Who gives a fuck? But yeah,
They
it's
played
kind of
Utah
weird, right?
State and they won 55-0.
Yeah, and fucking Bryce didn't even throw for over 200 yards, but he had 5 touchdowns. So I mean, it's weird to kind of judge how it's going to be. Alabama beat the fuck out of them. They got scored on, or they didn't get scored on. Texas
Right.
beat the fuck out of them, but they did get scored on. So it's hard to gauge. It would be awesome to see Alabama come out and lose, but for some reason, we always know Vegas knows their shit, and they're giving Texas 20 points, almost 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So that's some shit you want to stay away from. Or if you really think that there's a chance, then I would take the plus 20 all day long. It's probably what, minus 110 odds. The money line's plus 800 for Texas, minus 1400. Holy shit. So that's insane. Holy cow. But yeah, Texas has some dogs on both sides too, and they have a really good defense, it seems like, this year. So it could go either way. But like you said, Vegas always knows their shit some way or another.
Well, while you were talking, I had to look this man up because he deserves a shout out, and that is the Texas athletic director, Chris Del Conte. He did his thing perfectly because usually Nick Saban or whoever their athletic director is and Alabama schedules that huge game for the season opener because it gives Saban that time to plan. It gives him that time to come out, and he wins 55-0. He beat FSU, right? He beat Oregon State or somebody a couple of years ago. Dominates these people. So the Texas AD said, you know what? Let's do it week 2. Let's make sure you have the game plan for one game first, and then we'll take you. So we'll see if that's an advantage for Texas. He gets them at home, and Nick Saban only has that 1 week of prep time, which we've seen be the struggle, I guess, if you can call him having any struggle. But week 1 is definitely not a struggle for Nick Saban. So good job on you, Chris Del Conte, to kind of finagle the schedule the way that you needed it to, and get them at home in week 2. I think it's going to be a huge advantage. I would take Texas on the points. I would not take Texas money line, but 20 is going to be a lot. 20 is going to be a lot. All right.
Yeah,
so
you got to think with that.
Up?
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
With that, like that first game of the season, the last couple of years, we've seen Alabama going up against pretty good teams and just wearing them the fuck out and making them look like sissies.
Yeah.
But like that coaching staff is really fucking good. And all you do week 1, just play the way we taught you to play. And then you go into games and you switch shit up as a coach and all that stuff. So maybe at the end of the day, the reason Alabama loses is because of Nick Saban and his coaching staff. Because they win week 1 when the players play the way they're supposed to play. Whenever they get shit switched up, who knows? Who knows? I love hating on Alabama.
I think they just throw a game away to keep controversy is all they do.
We can't go undefeated 8 years in a row.
Exactly. So before we shift to the NFL, let's split our football up into 2 little parts here. And let's give another shout out to America, to Francis Tiafoe, Tiafoe, I don't know exactly how to say his last name, but the American that upset Rafa Nadal in the U.S. Open in New York, moved on again. So he has made it to the semifinals for the first time in a long time. I don't remember the actual time, but the first time since like Andy Roddick that an American
Like
has made it to the semifinals of a tournament. And he's the first African American to make it since like 1980, since Arthur Ashe, which is what the stadium is named after in the U.S. Open. So just a huge shout out to that man. He won in straight sets today over the number 9 seed. So it wasn't just a flash in the pan to beat Nadal. This man's actually good. He's also the youngest American, I believe, to ever make the semifinals ever. So it's really cool to see that finally America is starting to get people. We talked about it in Wimbledon. They had a quarter of the field. They had 4 guys in the final 16. All of them lost. So now TFO has pushed it a little bit further, and it looks like America's back on the map. So that's huge. If you're watching this weekend, definitely check it out. It's lined up perfectly for him. Djokovic didn't get to play. Medvedev, who was the number 1 seed in this tournament, got knocked out on the other side. Kyrgios, one of the favorites, got knocked out as well. So it's really lining up for him to have a miracle run here, and he's 2 wins away. So check him out. It's awesome.
Did you ever see the I think it was on Netflix in the Untold series, the Annie Roddick's partner kid?
Yeah.
That thing.
I remember him.
Awesome.
I remember him, and like he was one of my favorite players. Now Roddick was my favorite player, and that's how I knew about.
I'm pretty sure I was in Orlando. I'm pretty sure we watched him beat Andy Roddick.
Yeah.
Well, it was like 2010, 2011. I'm pretty sure like I was there. We watched it.
Yeah, Mardy Fish. I mean, he was really good. I liked him, but obviously, I mean, I was a Roddick fan, so I had to not like Fish, but he did his thing, and I think he made it to a few quarterfinals. And he won, I think, the Olympics, or maybe came in second in the Olympics. So he had a big. But if you haven't watched the documentary or the series, whatever they call them, docu-series things, check it out. It's really good. Seal's playing a goat video or something.
ESPN, bro. I don't know what's going on. Mute. Again, I don't understand.
Was it like a Serena Williams video or something? Like they're trying to call her the goat? Oh, Sue Bird, maybe? Oh.
It's a freaking Aflac commercial.
Well, while we're listening to goats, let's shout out Sue Bird. The Seattle Storm officially lost to the Las Vegas Aces, so she is retired. And I love Diana Taurasi. I will always be in the Diana Taurasi is the GOAT camp. But Sue Bird is easily the greatest point guard in WNBA history. And if you call her the GOAT, I would not argue too harshly. So big shout out to her as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Longevity and what she was able to do in that time, I think, makes her the GOAT over anything. At the end of the day, Candace Parker can play as long, but what she did in that span of time isn't going to amount to much. And I don't think really Diana, at the end of the day, probably is going to fall a little short unless
Diana's the highest peak, but I guess.
Yeah, but over the
longevity,
I think is what's going to make Sue Bird probably the GOAT, because what she was able to sustain, it doesn't happen, and it sucks when you look back. It wasn't really talked about that much. I mean, in the last couple of years is when the WA is kind of getting personified, and everybody's starting to see these athletes. But man, back in 2007, 2008, watching her and Diana would have been a fucking show to watch whenever they were young and coming out in their peak in early 2010s, when all these girls, when Candace, when Brittany, and all them, if it was being covered the way it is today, definitely for sure she probably wouldn't have as much of an argument over Candace. But like when you just look at what she was able to do for at least the foreseeable future, 2-3 years, she's definitely the GOAT in my eyes.
Yeah, and I mean, she has one more ring than Diana, which there's a lot of storylines that go into that. Obviously, Brittany Griner not being around helped big time. A lot of injuries hurt Taurasi, but we got to see them play together in the Olympics, and I think that was when when the WNBA started to get that light, when the women's soccer team was fighting for equality and pay and all that. The WNBA the women's Olympic team went and just routed everybody. And that was A'ja Wilson, Taurasi, Sue Bird, the other girl on Seattle, Brianna Stewart or whatever it is. And they just ran house. And I mean, that team was exciting to watch as any other team, but they were also winning by like 50 points the same way the U.S. women's soccer team do. But it was amazing.
That Brianna Stewart chick can shoot fucking lights out of a ball, dude. Holy crap.
Yeah. That's all they practice when they can't get up above the rim. They don't have time to be showboating in practice, just throwing up dunk competitions and stuff. She's just putting in work, and it shows.
Yeah.
But yeah, so big shout out to her. So let's move on to the NFL now. And it is officially week 1. We are all ready. We've talked about our two teams pretty extensively and how we're both excited about our teams. Since we last talked about the Bucks, though, we lost another offensive lineman. We lost our backup center now. So now we have both of our centers gone and our left tackle gone. And starting to worry me a little bit. But at least we have Tom Brady, and he can throw it. He gets it rid of the ball the fastest, and it doesn't even matter which person he throws it to. If they're wearing a red jersey, all of our receivers are stacked, and so I'm not super worried. But the run game is going to be just destroyed by the fact that we have no offensive line.
How about him being 45 years old and getting number 1 top 100 player?
Yeah,
Pretty dope.
that's pretty crazy. I don't necessarily know that I agree with that.
Nah,
but he
A-Rod.
did lead the league in passing last year, so like yards wise, so maybe.
Yeah, I
But
figured if it was going to be a year, it was going to go to a quarterback again. It would have been A-Rod. Like I really thought after the last 2 years he had,
yeah,
and what he was able to do with one fucking receiver, no team would ever have a Rob Tunyon fan club the way the whole nation has fallen in love with this guy, unless their quarterback's fucking Aaron Rodgers. Like
right.
the old man just finds these guys and finds what they're good at, and that's it. That's all we're doing. And Randall Cobb last year, like, oh, what the fuck? Randall Cobb was the number 1 on Houston and wasn't putting these numbers up, and he's the number 4 on this team because all he does is what he's good at. That's all Aaron wants you to do. And yeah, that was crazy. But yeah, shout out to him. I'm excited for it. I'm kind of excited for us. I'm trying to pull it up, but it's not letting me. But yeah, we all know about the big acquisitions we got in the receiving course this year in the offseason. Evan Ingram, Christian Kirk, and then Zay Jones. Well, other than them 3 guys, we have Marvin Jones returning from last year. This kid Tim Jones, who I have no idea who the fuck he is, and some other cat like Ken Osborne. Not Ken Osborne. I wish it was Ken Osborne, but something. I'm not gonna be able to find it. And then Daniel Arnold is behind Chris Manhertz. So we're gonna have it's I don't know what the hell we're doing. We got rid of Laviska Shenault for like a 6th-round pick to Carolina. And I just don't understand what's going on with that aspect. But yeah, man, I'm pretty excited for it. We got Washington week 1, Brandon Sheriff's revenge game against his old team, letting him go to us, send him to shitty ass Jacksonville. So hopefully our run game to the right side is absolutely fantastically amazing because James Robinson is going to be a full go. Doug Peterson says, so I'm excited for that. And again, Travis Etienne.
Yeah, I
finally gets to
avoided
play in
ETN
another
in
week
my
1.
fantasy just because I knew that Robinson is gonna. When he ran, he was one of the best running backs in the league. So
Yeah.
like, if he comes back, even if they do a committee, it's gonna take a lot from ETN, and people were picking
Well,
him in like the
I'm hoping
early second.
because the way our roster looks, the way it looks to me is that Christian Kirk's going to be our slot receiver. We're going to have the Joneses, Marvin, and Zay Jones on the outside, which I'm down with. Zay Jones is a fucking speedster. But hopefully ETN can come out into the slot as well, and he'll be able to produce. Because to not have him on the field is just a shame.
Right.
James Robinson is James Robinson in the run game. He's way better than ETN is. But to have a 3rd, 4th receiver that can come out, being ETN is bar none going to be amazing. Like people already forget what he did at Clemson. Like you give him 2 feet of space and you're fucked.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be if he does go out of the backfield, I think that's going to be huge because yeah, he did that at Clemson a lot, and obviously Trevor knows how to find him out there. So
yep.
Yeah, that could be pretty exciting. So your teams are looking pretty good. Can't call them the Commanders, dude. I'd rather call them Washington Football Team.
We are Commanders.
Are they favored? Yeah, they are favored against you guys.
Yeah. 3.5 points, I'm pretty sure.
But why should Carson Wentz ever be favored again in his life? Like
exactly.
Just
after week 17, what was it? Week 18 last year? Is that what it was? That fucking performance he gave against us. Whenever, and I love how Pat McAfee always calls that game Clown Town. Like he lost in Clown Town because we literally had a banner flying saying Shad Khan's a clown over the stadium during the game. All the fans wore clown noses because we were embarrassed by the way the organization was going. And we still fucking won the game against the team that had to win to get into the playoffs.
Right.
It was beautiful as a Jaguars fan. But yeah, all these execs, again, Vegas knows something, but for all these execs to see that and for Washington to be like, that's our guy next season. Like, we don't need Taylor Heineke, who already showed that he can run this team. Now, we want this dude who's going to break both of his ankles for no fucking reason and then lose to a team who doesn't even have a good organization, and they need to go to the playoffs.
I mean, it's just crazy
awesome.
that Carson Wentz we already know he's bad. He's playing against his ex-coach, who's going to know all of his weaknesses. One of their players literally got shot multiple times, and so he's not going to be playing. He did get drafted in our fantasy draft, by the way. I hope he comes back. It wasn't by me, but so I don't know what Washington has going for them. Honestly, they weren't good before. I guess they have a good defense. They have a good defense, and they have Gibson, but
Scary Terry.
Yeah, but they have Carson Wentz. I don't know why they should ever be favored, but I guess if you're the first week before any stats are on the board and you're at home, you got to get that little Vegas 3 points. That's just what you get. But it's going to be pretty bad. So before I'm going to give you a rundown of a couple of big storylines and big games, and you're going to just pick one to talk about. But let's real quickly talk about, because this would have been one of the games, Tampa Bay and Cowboys. They played last year. They threw for like 800 yards total.
I was there.
You were there? Oh, that's awesome.
I was there. Remember?
Oh yeah, because you sent me the video of them doing the like.
Shit. Yeah. I was there. I was supposed to send you these. I still got them somewhere.
Well, now they have to go to Jerry World. Do you foresee just literally a run it back, Dak versus Brady, or are they gonna try to be a little more defensive, be a little more slow in their stuff, or are we seeing 2 400-yard performances again?
No, not at all. The best receiver in that game is now in Cleveland. So, I mean, no offense to any of your receivers.
Mike Evans is not better than Amari Cooper? Get the fuck out of here.
In that game, the best receiver in
the one from last year
is now in Cleveland.
Gotcha.
That's why I said no offense to Mike Evans.
I thought you meant the best receiver between the two teams, just like as a whole.
No. In that game last year, the best receiver in that game. What I told you, all the fucking Cowboys fans were all in nosebleeds with me, and all you ever heard, they weren't saying boo. They were cool, like all night fucking long, because the dude was lighting it up.
He won my fantasy week last year.
He's in Cleveland now. So I don't think the Bucs really have to worry about that too much, and you guys got a lot better on defense. Antoine Winfield's in another season. So no, I don't think that passing attack's going to be able to do that. And the Cowboys are in another year, and we got to try something different. They haven't been the same Cowboys the last 4 or 5 years consistently. We haven't seen the same thing out of the offense that has pretty much been the same. So, no, I don't think it's going to be like that. If it is like that, whoever has CeeDee Lamb in their fantasy is about to fucking take off for points for. But I don't honestly see. Yeah. I mean, Schultz, he can do his thing a little bit too, but at the end of the day, that receiving corps, you got to rely on him a lot, unless Gallup's still on that team, right? They have to give him.
Yeah, but he's injured. He won't be there this week.
Oh, he is injured. So it's going to have to be CeeDee. I think you guys will be fine. I don't know. Tom Brady came out week 3 preseason, lit it up a little bit, but I just figured you guys would just come out and run the ball to start. But who knows? Tom Brady likes to fire that bitch.
Yeah, but if you have no line and you're facing that Cowboys defense that can blitz, he might try to run it a little bit. But we'll see. I mean, we're not scared of Mike McCarthy, and eventually the Cowboys are going to lose on purpose and try their best to get Sean Payton in there. So who knows what week that will start, but if Philly comes out as hot as the whole media world is making them out to be, I'm against that media world. But if they do show up like that and the Cowboys are like 2-2 or 1-3, then it's a wrap, and they'll just be trying to get that Sean Payton in there. So let me give you a few games, and there's going to be different reasons for telling you these games. Obviously, football fans will know all of them, but just pick one, maybe two to let's really dig into a little deeper, so that some other fans of some other sports or teams get a shout out as well, not just our two every time. So opening night tomorrow, tonight if you're listening, Bills and Rams.
Whoa.
What?
Emmanuel Sanders retired?
Yeah. I mean, shout out to him. I was going to say it at the end.
Shout out. Sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry.
But yes, he did retire. So Bills and Rams is the opening night. Obviously, the Super Bowl champ always gets to play, and the Bills probably should have been in the Super Bowl. So that's a fun one. You can pick that one, obviously. I mean, you could pick any, I guess. But the Browns and the Panthers is Baker Mayfield heading back to Cleveland to try to show them what's up. You have the Packers and the Vikings. Can Rodgers do it without a wide receiver? You talk about how he can do it with one wide receiver, but can he do it without? You have the Raiders and the Chargers, where last year it was winner take all to make it in the playoffs. One of the best games we have ever seen. Justin Herbert went, I think, 6 for 6 on 4th down that game and somehow still lost the game, which is crazy in and of itself. Or you have the Broncos and Seahawks with Russell Wilson heading back home. Well, not home, but heading to Seattle. So which one or two of those do you want to talk about? There's a lot of big games, big stories there. What's the best one?
The two I don't really want to talk about, Browns and Panthers. I think the Panthers are going to win. Seahawks are going to lose.
Oh, yeah.
Really bad. And then I forget the third to last one. Those bottom three I don't care about. Rams and the Chargers, Raiders. I think the Chargers are just gonna fucking destroy them. Like the Raiders are gonna come out thinking they're gonna be all pass happy and all this shit. And the Chargers have probably
the best defense in the league.
Yeah. And I don't think it's gonna be as cute as the Raiders are like they've been jolly as fuck. You see all these interviews, they're jolly as shit about Devontae and Derek, and you don't hear anything else about the team. That's going to come back to bite them in the ass. There's probably already some guys on that team aren't happy. That's probably why Kendrick Drake isn't there anymore. That's probably why they were showing off Josh Jacobs week 1 of the preseason, trying to get him out of there too. People probably aren't happy about a lot of shit going on inside of that building. Shout out to them for keeping it quiet. They've got a first-year coach. I don't think it's going to go as well as they think it is. I think they're going to get smacked in the asshole. But Rams, Bills, definitely want to talk about that a little bit. And then, what was the other one?
The Packers and Vikings.
Packers, Vikings.
Let's end on that one because I think that's a surprisingly best game of the weekend candidate. But let's start with opening night because it's opening night. So the Bills travel to SoFi. The heavy favorite for the MVP, Josh Allen, gets to go in against the team that won the Super Bowl and then brought back pretty much all their defenders. This is what you asked for when you. What was the opening week last week? It was last year.
It was you guys on Thursday.
Oh yeah, that was us because we had the Super Bowl. Yeah. So I mean that was a good game. So it's shaping up to be these opening nights are the best games. What do you see happening here? I picked Josh Allen for my fantasy team, so I'm hoping it's a pass happy, crazy, fun thing, but I'm not sure that it will be.
I think the Bills are going to be able to come out on top of this. I really feel like the Rams are going to look ugly. Matt Stafford is definitely going to be able to do his thing, but that hero in the postseason last year isn't even on a fucking roster. It's crazy.
Right.
It's absolutely crazy. And at the end of the day, one of the better people that came up in the clutch is going to be on the other defensive line now. But the biggest thing with that is, and Von Miller being with Buffalo, the Buffalo Bills defensive line, they do not play more than like 50, 65% of the snaps. Like, it just doesn't happen. They're all rotated. Doesn't matter who the fuck comes in the building. That's just how it's been for the last couple of years under, what's his name? McDermott. That's just how he does it. They always are rotated. They're always subbing out. And we're used to, Von Miller's used to in Denver and in LA, no matter where he goes, he's playing 90% of the snaps. So we'll see how that fares. He might tell them, listen, if you want to do it for the rest of the season, that's cool. But this game, if I'm healthy, I'm playing. I don't give a fuck. So that's going to be the biggest thing for me is if this Buffalo, I just heard about it the other day, was kind of shocked by it. And it kind of makes sense because you don't run against Buffalo. Buffalo can't run against you, but you're not fucking running the ball against Buffalo. And they're always able to get to the backfield. Well, because they're fucking fresh legs in at all times.
Yeah.
So maybe Von Miller will buy into it, and we'll see an even better, more productive Von Miller in the 65% of the snaps that he is playing because he's not tired and huffing for air. But I don't think that's going to happen in this game. And I think it's going to be lights out for Matt Stafford. He's not going to be able to get into a groove. It's going to be one of those games where Detroit Lions fans are used to. He's going to have like 300-something yards, but he's going to have more interceptions than touchdowns, and it's not going to be pretty on the score.
Yeah, they lost. They didn't just lose Odell Beckham Jr. They also lost Robert Woods. They've lost everyone except for Cooper Kupp. So their running backs.
Well, they still have Higbee.
Yeah, that's true. Their running backs are not good. Henderson maybe is going to come out in the second half of the season once what's his name finally gives up the ghost over there, and they don't know what they want. And it's going to be bad. I agree with you. I think Buffalo is going to just run them out. Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, you can't guard both of them. And if you do, Dawson Knox just signed a 4-year, $50 million or whatever it was contract, so
guaranteed.
he's ready to go. They obviously have the run game of Devin Singletary's okay, but Josh Allen can run himself. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be a rout. I think they're going to come out. People forget, yes, the Rams won the Super Bowl, but they weren't that good in the regular season. They were just okay. And they needed that Odell Beckham signing. They needed Cooper Kupp to go superhuman the last like 6 weeks of the season, and they needed Matt Stafford to do what he does. So yeah, I think the Bills are just better at every aspect of the game. There's not really, Cooper Kupp aside, there's not there, including Cooper Kupp, there's not a position group that the Rams are better at when you look from top to bottom. So I think it's a wrap. I think it'll be pretty easy, and I think the Bills are really going to run to one of the best seasons we've seen, and they're one of my picks to make it to the AFC Championship at least, but we'll see from there. They tend to shrink in the playoffs. So
yeah,
we'll
man,
see.
they're definitely going to be scary for sure.
All right, so let's move on and let's talk about the Packers and the Vikings. The Packers, obviously, we know what they do. We know how good Aaron Rodgers is, back-to-back MVPs. You have him as a favorite to win the MVP a third time. The Vikings just consistently, I mean, get better every year. They're going to continue doing that. Justin Jefferson is the man. Adam Thielen is the man. Dalvin Cook, if he's healthy, is the man. And Kirk just is trying to keep the ship pointing forward. Their defense is getting better. Like, all of the NFC North is better. Like, the Lions are going to be better. Well, the Bears won't be, I guess. But the Lions will be better. I think with the Packers getting worse and the Lions and Vikings getting better, this is going to be one team getting out of the North, and it's going to be up in the air a lot more than it has been in the past.
Yeah, and I really think, who was the damn it, man, excuse me, sorry, about time to take more medicine. Who's the receiver the Vikings just got?
I don't know, but he made Adam Thielen drop to like the 12th round. Yeah, Reagor.
Jalen Reagor. Yeah, so yeah, we'll see. Kirk Cousins definitely has weapons now. You talk about Thielen, Jefferson. I brought up KJ Osborne earlier, calling him a different fucking name. Sorry about that, bro. It's what I do. But yeah, that team just seems, like you said, to keep getting better and better and better. That defense is Old Faithful over there. They always do their thing. It's just they can't put up fucking more than 20 points to get the dub.
Right.
So it seems like they're knowing what they need to do, giving Kirk what he thinks he needs, the kind of players that he likes. He likes throwing the rock as far as he can. He likes dishing it. So they put speed all over the place on that team. And yeah, I think they're really going to be able to cook. But on the other side, the Packers have one of the best defenses in the NFC, arguably one of like the best in the league. And yeah, you talk about them not having receivers and stuff, but we got Sammy Watkins, who has been productive as of late on teams outside of the Ravens, but he's been able to do pretty damn good. And like, not forget Randall Cobb, Adam Lazard's still there. He wants to have a breakout year like Michael Pittman's looking to do in Indy, but he's kind of banged up and hurt. But yeah, this is where we're going to see what Aaron Rodgers is able to do. He's always had Jordy Nelson. He's always had a Randall Cobb in his prime. He's always had a Devontae Adams type player. He's always had at least one. And we didn't see enough in Lazard last year to, I guess, give him the hype to do that. And so we're going to see what he's able to do with the collective. That's always been Tom Brady's thing. He didn't need to have that. He just needed a collective wide receiver corps. He didn't need to have that great person. He made these guys great and go to other teams and suck ass, a la Wes Welker. Love you, bro. But when he had Randy Moss, they almost went undefeated throughout the whole fucking season and put up the best numbers ever seen by the wide receiver. So yeah, I mean, you can argue all that stuff, but this is where we're going to see if Aaron Rodgers really is, in my eyes, the best quarterback of all time. Yeah, Tom Brady has the rings. He's probably one of the greatest football players of all time in that aspect, but just pure quarterbacking, nobody can ever tell me different. It's Aaron Rodgers every day for me. But this is where I'm really going to be able to throw that seal of approval on it and go to the grave with it if he's able to go 13-4 this year like he did last year. Even better than that. So this is going to be a pivotal matchup. I love that they did it so early. It's not some stupid ass Jaguars Commanders fucking matchup that nothing matters. Like, this matters early, week 1. We're going to see what this Green Bay Packers offense is all about, and I'm really excited for it. And it's going to carry a lot of waves throughout the season. Bach, I'm just going to say Bach. I'm not going to try to
He
say his
should
whole
be
name.
back, right?
He should be back. He wants to play. He wants to go. So we'll see what happens there. I mean, I can see him wanting Matt LaFleur wanting him all season instead of him trying to prove that he can go. Tried
Right.
to last year, had a setback, and now he's wanting to go again. So we'll see. But I'm excited for it. There's storylines all over the place in this game on both sides of the ball. If Kirk doesn't do it this year, he's fucked. He's out of the league. He's retired, or he's going to be a backup for the next 3 or 4 years until he does.
Yeah. So do you think that Aaron Rodgers is going to pull through and take it and
Oh,
run
yeah.
away with it? All right.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think Minnesota
Aaron Jones
needs
is gonna
this.
snap.
I think Minnesota needs this game more than Green Bay does, and so I think they'll find a way at home for the opener. Because if they lose this game, then the storyline just goes to exactly what you said, and it's the Packers running away with the North again. I think the Vikings have to win to keep that parity. So I
Yeah,
think they
and we
will.
saw a couple times last year. I believe it was against Minnesota when Aaron Jones had those 3 total touchdowns, 1 receiving, 2 rushing, and then AJ Dillon got in there with a receiving touchdown as well against them. I think we'll see shit like that more this year.
Yeah,
Without Devontae,
probably.
because AJ Dillon's my guy when it comes to catching the ball, and Aaron Jones always remind me, yeah, he's better than him at that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to see. There's storylines all over this game. This is definitely one that I'm linked into on Sunday.
All right. So before we do our Emmanuel Sanders shout out and the ending of this podcast, I'm going to give you a prop bet. We don't need to talk about it necessarily because we are a little long, but I just want to hear your thoughts on this prop bet. Sauce Gardner went his entire college career without allowing a touchdown.
Yeah, totally.
They have a very favorable schedule, honestly. So I'm going to read you what's that?
Did you hear how many times they threw against him in the preseason?
0, but why are you going to? Like, who the fuck cares? It's preseason.
This man's the truth, bro.
But so I'm just going to read because they have a very easy schedule as far as Sauce Gardner is concerned. Not the Jets. Absolutely. They suck. But I'm just going to read through. Let me know when he's finally going to give up his first touchdown in man-to-man coverage. They got the Ravens week 1. Then they got the Browns, the Bengals, the Steelers, the Dolphins, the Packers, potentially, the Broncos, the Patriots, and then the Bills. And then if he gets through the Bills, it's the Bears, the Vikings, the Patriots, the Bills again, and then the Lions, Jaguars, Seahawks, and Dolphins. He's got a pretty easy schedule. But what week of that is he probably going to let,
First time they play the Dolphins.
First time they play the Dolphins is week 5.
Then.
All right.
I think it's going to be then because Jalen Waddle or Tyreek, he's going to want to guard both of them at all times, and it could happen. Definitely not against the Browns. Not scared of the fucking Browns with Sauce.
The Ravens don't have a number 1 wide receiver anymore. I mean, I guess Bateman is going to be the guy, but I think he can shut him down. Maybe the Bengals, like potentially the Bengals could score on him, but if he gets through these, I think the Bills. I don't think he'll get past the Bills. Stephon Diggs is going to score, but he could potentially get to the Bills, which would be week 9, and that would be amazing if he goes another half of the season without letting in a touchdown on the Jets, mind you. That would be huge. Yeah. That man's amazing.
Yeah. He's legit as fuck.
So I'll put you down. I'll put you down as the Dolphins. I will put me down as the Bengals. And let's see what happens. Bengals are week 3. Dolphins are week 5. But that man's the truth. You called it. You said it. I never really watched him too much in college other than just the games I had to when we were involved.
Yeah, no, just watching. I don't know why I fell in love with just watching random football games over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
But the couple games I watched Cincinnati, I was like, yo, this dude here is going to be fucking legit. Like, and then everybody else knew it. So I don't know. Maybe I'm in the wrong profession.
Maybe. All right. So we're going to get out of here. Seal mentioned it a little bit earlier in passing, but Emmanuel Sanders is officially retiring after 12 seasons. he is going to be an announcer, so he's still going to be in the spotlight. He's already ready to go. I think he's going to be working for Fox, I want to say, but I don't remember. But he will be an analyst. He'll be covering football. But this man, I know him as a Denver Bronco. I don't know where you know him as, maybe because he was on the Steelers for a little bit, but
he was on the Steelers before the Broncos.
the Broncos were his team. That was where he did his thing.
Yeah, he was on the Steelers
him
until
and
he
DT
got pissed off at AB and left.
Yeah. So just really exciting to see guys go 12 years, man. Like the average career is a little over 3 years in the NFL. And the people that beat those 3 years are usually the quarterbacks or maybe linemen, things like that. For a receiver to go 12 years, I mean, how long did Calvin Johnson play? Like 7 years, 6 or 7 years. So even with the best of the best, it's hard to go 12 years as a receiver. You're getting hit, you're getting taken down. And Emmanuel Sanders was just a pivotal part. Yeah, you're good. A pivotal part in the Broncos, at least.
And especially as always being a number 2 receiver, like a slot guy, never like a number 1, never a pivotal tool. He was always like that Y guy that was just, all right, you're here. That's cool. If we need you, we'll find you. And he always made big plays, always came up when needed, and made a career out of it. We usually see those guys kind of fall off, have to play slot, and then just all of a sudden 5-6 years into the league, they're gone. And they just disappear and go sell insurance and shit. We see that all the time, like all the time. Sorry about that. Always have to wonder what's going on with these guys. And hey, what happened to this dude? But Emmanuel Sanders was always there, always trucking, and was never that like main guy on the team. So that's really fucking cool that he was able to stay in the league 12 years and could have kept going if he wanted to, probably.
Yeah, he could have kept going, but he was really, really good friends with Demaryius Thomas. Obviously, we know what happened there, and he took it pretty hard and just said, I want to walk out of here. So to that point, to what Seal said, and what I was saying, even if you're not the best of the best, even if you're not the number 1 option, even if you're not the guy that the media jumps to or that your boss always gives you kudos at work, things like this, it's still valuable to grind. It's still valuable to go in. You're still an integral part. He won Super Bowl rings because of the contributions that he made to the Broncos. So even if you're not in the spotlight all the time and you don't have that, whatever it is, that extra piece to be that guy that's always getting the love, always getting the wins, and you feel like other people are getting wins around you, it doesn't matter. Just keep grinding because somebody needs you. Somebody will reach out to you, and you will be a member of something that is greater than yourself. So take Emmanuel Sanders as a prime image of that and be like him and be a stud, not a scrub.
Yeah.